Alright, and we're here. We should be, hopefully. Alright, so let's begin.
Hello there guys, my name is Opal Cadman and welcome. Today I have three main tasks. The first
Only
one
three?
is to introduce you to Koch Media's brand new premium gaming label. Number two is to take a deep dive into some of the games coming to that label. And finally, number three is to show you what the new label will be getting up to in the streaming world. I want to welcome streamers who are co-streaming this today. Hello.
Oh, thank you.
Some of you guys are guys who I have looked up to and watched for many years. And speaking of people who I've looked up to for many years, I am so proud to introduce Jeff Keeley, who will be helping me co-host us through this entire list of games. Jeff, how's it going?
Thanks, Opal. It is so
Hey,
great
Jeff.
to be here with you for the first ever live stream from Prime Matter. I was honored yesterday to reveal the label to the world at the Summer Game Fest kickoff event. And wow, you've got a lot of games there in that sizzle, over a dozen games. So I know today you're going to go a little bit more in depth to talk about all these games, to talk to a lot of the developers. But for those of you that might have missed it yesterday or just want to see it again, let's kick things off with a look at that announcement sizzle reel for Prime Matter.
Okay.
Sometimes I ask myself what it all means.
Let's begin.
There. Yay. Yay for sizzle reels.
Is that who you are?
My purpose makes me who I am.
Jeff looking rough. Man, Corona.
Feeling we're doing something
Even coming out of lockdown. Corona hurting everybody.
Succeed where others would fail.
2 seconds. Seems we're on the sizzle reel. There you go. Gungrave. Hold up, wait, was that Gungrave? Did that just say Gungrave? Wasn't that? I remember Gungrave. Iron Harvest. Mountain Blade 2 with King's Mountain. Codename Final Form. That isn't even that game's final form.
Prime Matter.
Yes, guys, you just saw 12 games and counting. And that's just the start for Prime Matter. But before we get into these incredible games, what I like to call the juicy bits,
Aha.
I want to
Don't go
talk
cringe.
about what Prime Matter is and who we are. Prime Matter is the new premium gaming label of Koch Media. It dedicates itself to delivering a range of immersive and diverse games from amazing development talent all around the globe. It highlights the varied influences of global studios
I think he does.
and their different approaches to game making. The new label will lead through creativity and expression, with games that enthrall players with larger-than-life storytelling, create incredible moments, and above all, they're fun. The team
This is why
behind
you
Prime
need-
Matter is a melting pot of incredible talent, led by seasoned industry veterans. And
This is why you need to learn your lines
complemented
before you go
by a
live.
fresh, dynamic team of multicultural gaming experts. The team behind are gamers at heart, working with
Wait.
such a wide range of passionate
Painkiller.
developers producing games together by gamers for gamers.
Oh, that Painkiller?
And that being said, For all you keen-eyed individuals out there, you would have seen that one game was actually missing in our 12-game lineup for Prime Matter during the video. That is a game that comes from the Embracer family itself. Jeff got to sit down with Todd Hollinshead and talk all about Painkiller.
Okay, what? Don't show coming up.
Yesterday, yes, there is a new Painkiller coming, and Todd is
Cool.
joining me now to maybe give us a few more details. I know this
Painkiller is a good series.
A fresh project for the team at Saber, and you guys. First of all,
wait, Saber Interactive,
Tim Willits are there,
as in like World War Z Saber Interactive,
and Painkiller was a franchise. You and I are both OG. We remember it was it probably 15 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been a while. Closer to 2 decades than 1.
My God. All right. Well, but it's one of those classic games. Let me ask you, from a Prime Matter perspective, you've been in the industry like me all those years, and we remember that game. Why was this a franchise that you guys wanted to sort of bring back?
Well, because OG...
Painkiller, when I played it back in the early 2000s, this is a game that had, it was dark, a little twisted, intense, cool guns. These are the things that, kind of hit the nail on the head of what appeals to me in a video game, both as, as a fan and then also as a publisher at Saber. So, we're hoping to capture those same sort of elements and bring those into the new game.
Yeah, you guys are certainly masters of doing shooters. From
is my stream still up?
At id, and Painkiller, does have a lot of that DNA of fast-paced action.
Prime Matter sounds like a military company. You get a point. It does.
The fact you guys are working with Prime Matter is also exciting. Brand new publisher, brand new label. What do you think of the fact that they're doing this label, and it's such a diverse lineup of companies and partners around it? I know you guys work with a lot of publishers, but it's pretty exciting to see a new label announced. That doesn't happen every day.
No, it doesn't. And, I think that within the Embracer group, it's just a business that is growing. We've got great leadership at the top. And so Koch Media is, wanting to expand their publishing.
Is it Koch or Coke? Because he just said Coke.
Prime Matter sort of is, it's sort of like the primordial soup of putting together stuff from nothing. So, it kind of makes me think of this is what we do when we make video games. You start with Pixel 0, and then at the end of the day, you make a game. So I feel like that, that kind of resonates with hopefully the type of experiences that we're going to be providing, not just with...
But yes, that is a batarang in the background.
Them, between Saber and our partnership, but, across the Embracer group as well.
Yeah, no, it sounds like...
Yeah, like old school first-person shooter design is back in thanks to Doom. So Painkiller coming back doesn't surprise me.
Fans, of course,
I'm glad for it.
Want to know a little bit about, what's the game going to look, how's it going to play. Probably can't share a lot of details about it, but you're kind of in the early stages of development now on this?
Yeah, super early, and if anything that I would share, I'd probably get assassinated for back home.
I'm calling it the E3 Coke stream
because all these the first stuff that comes out almost always gets sort of iterated on and changed, and so we're trying to keep the lid on the details until we have something that's going to be really awesome to show.
All right. Well, we'll be waiting for it, and we know with you involved, it's going to be something very special. Fast-paced action, I have no doubt. So,
I'm hoping.
Painkiller coming soon from the team at.
No, don't say coming soon. Coming eventually.
I really can't wait to hear more about Painkiller and the fact that Todd and Tim and the team at Saber are working on it. I think we're going to get something pretty special when they are ready to share more. So, exciting stuff in that sizzle reel, Painkiller, Payday, but I know there's a lot more we're here to talk about today as well, right, Opal?
Actually, Prime Matter has 12 games under development right at this minute.
Jesus, 12?
We're so excited to show you guys what us and the developers have been up to. However, before you see some of the content that we show you today, I do have to make it clear that some of this is pre-alpha, alpha, high-level concept, and some of it is about to release right around the corner. So please keep that in mind when you're viewing today's show. That being said, how do you guys feel about a psychedelic
Okay, are we back? We should be back. I'm hoping we're back because like OBS just would not connect to YouTube servers. Okay, yeah, we're back.
Wrong. I got to speak with the developers of The Chant, working
Okay, The Chant. Survival horror, psychological.
And who they are.
Let's see how this looks.
A group of people who go to a spiritual retreat to seek enlightenment, and they basically get a little more than they bargained for. And your character has to deal with her own personal issues as well as the cosmic terrors that become awakened.
Cool. So
this dude's saying more than me.
And it's a bit hard to pin down with the with all the different influences and styles of gameplay, but I'd say we're probably a survival action horror game.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Cool. And what was the thinking behind that genre? Is it something that you guys like, or is it just it came left field? What's your decision?
You're saying more than me.
Personally,
good God,
wanted to make a horror game. A big part of our core team have a background in third-person sandbox games, and we really wanted to combine, action mechanics, deep storytelling, and we felt that the horror genre was a really exciting space to take that background and play around with.
So, kind of sticking with the horror genre, why did you decide to go with that theme? It's not really like normally what you would see, this whole spiritual awakening thing. So what was the idea?
That's some bullshit.
I thought it was just kind of an interesting territory to explore.
That's some bullshit.
There is, there's a lot of influence from that with like folk horror of the 70s and giallo horror.
There is a number of games out there that deal with spiritualism and survival horror.
And taking that kind of aesthetic, something that was very sensational, very colorful, and mixing it in with more action-oriented and exploratory game mechanics, we felt was a fresh take on the horror space.
So, kind of speaking about your inspirations and stuff, what video games, real life media has inspired you to create this title?
Well, going way back when Resident Evil 2 is one of my favorite games of all time.
Good taste.
Alone in the Dark, Eternal Darkness.
Wow, that's
so a lot of games are very inspirational.
By the way,
our game actually started off as a game with fixed camera angles and so forth, and then
a game not bought up much. Eternal Darkness.
Development, just especially really focusing on bringing more of an action element to it. We've since switched to an over-the-shoulder camera and haven't looked back.
Yeah. So basically, you're templating Resident Evil 4.
How close is the game to like the original concept? I understand you guys are still developing. The game's quite far out, but from your original concept to where the game is now, how much has that differed?
Hello, Amy. Love, how are you?
The story and I'd say the aesthetic and the themes, those all remain intact. I'd say our gameplay, as our team size grew, we added deeper mechanics. I'd say more action to the game. Our game actually has a fair amount of combat in it, especially on the melee side. Those were things that weren't too prevalent in our original concept, and a lot of those things are just kind of based on we're a very small team at first. We're still a relatively small team, but every new person that joins, brings something into the mix. So
you're going to a spiritual retreat to find enlightenment with melee combat.
Depth of gameplay.
Oh, I will show the enemies enlightenment by hitting them with this flashlight.
Point, you got a small team. There's a lot of challenges that comes with that. What was the hardest part of making the game so far?
The hardest part was probably trying to make a game that has more realistic production values, because that's where our background comes from, on a smaller scale and budget. So for us, we had to be very strategic, utilizing Unreal. We wouldn't have been able to build this game without utilizing an engine like Unreal. Previously, we had worked on more proprietary technology. And
Which
that's also
Unreal?
great because, you know, new people that join the team can get up and running on the engine quite quickly.
4 or 5.
In addition to that, we've been using photogrammetry from the start for both our environments. All of our characters are also scanned actors, and we're using, you know, also tapping into a lot of what's going on in our city. Vancouver has a pretty big film industry, so really tapping into the film and the effects industry and tapping into that area of expertise.
It's not wrong.
Kind of try to do things as efficiently as possible.
That cut
So
was
you
awful.
mentioned like experience in the past and also kind of how rich Vancouver is. How much does that come in handy when you're working on the game?
Oh, it's been extremely beneficial.
Are they actually talking to each other?
AAA studios. A large portion of us work together at Rockstar and United
Or is she
Front
just
Games,
questioning
and,
pre-roll,
we also have
pre-recorded
people
footage?
Who have worked at the Coalition and EA, as well as some smaller independent studios as well. And in addition to that, you know, having the film industry here, where we can utilize, you know, local talent. We're working with union actors. We're scanning actors as well that we're using for our characters, and we're actually currently auditioning a couple remaining characters for the game, and as well as doing the finishing touches on our new motion capture studio. So we're going to be doing a full cinematics push over the coming months. That's a really exciting
Cinematics
place to be right now.
Awesome. Sounds great. In terms of exciting things, when it comes to this game, what are you most proud of at the minute where you are?
I think the thing I'm the most proud of is just what a small focused team can do when they're all, you know, sharing the same goal and vision. You know, as I said earlier, we come from different backgrounds, but everyone's managed to come together and really deliver an amazing amount of work for the team size we have. And yeah, it's really exciting to be working on a smaller team again, and you know, just having that kind of energy where you know, you're working with everyone on the team day to day.
Yeah, I imagine that is a lot different to probably what some of you are used to coming from those massive studios. So finally, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch, and also, you know, being featured on their brand new label?
Well, bigger outreach, I'm sure.
It's really an exciting place.
And lots and lots of money.
Kind of pushing our game as far as we could, and this partnership is really helping to provide more reach and more resources, but I think most importantly, also just having a partnership on getting feedback and helping
new survival horror game the studio's working on.
Push the vision of the game.
Survival
we've received
action.
a lot of feedback on the title, and being a small team, we're often in our own little echo chamber, and you know, even in a short period of time, we've been able to act on a lot of the feedback, and the game has improved considerably.
You'd never live in an echo chamber.
Well, Mike, thank you
I heard
so
the
much for your
reverb
time.
is
It's
terrible.
awesome to talk to you and find out a little bit more about what you guys are going to be offering for the new label. And I can't wait to let gamers finally get their hands on the content. So thank you for your time.
From psychedelic horrors to internet rumors, our next developer created the huge open world of Bohemia and took us on an adventure through the Holy Roman Empire. However, there have been some leaks that this action RPG may have a home on the Switch. Opal sat down with Warhorse Studios to try and get to the bottom of this.
Kingdom Come Deliverance on the Switch. That is quite some news.
Yes, that's true. Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming to the Nintendo Switch. And as you said, it's about gamers, devs, and
If I
games
remember this
in
guy,
our days, or in
isn't this
case,
the guy who gave
gamers
shit
play
to
in
all the
individual parties and
SJWs
stuff.
who were trying to shit on his game?
Well, some kind of confusion happened in the end of last year. We Warhorse Studios, were preparing the release of the Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition on PlayStation and Xbox, but someone most likely ticked the wrong box in Japan, and it looked like it's going to be released on Switch as well. Of course, by that time there was nothing existing like that. We were not even thinking about the possibility that
I think this is the same guy. If it is, he's my hero.
Nintendo Japan took this information, some Japanese media, and then the snowball started rolling. All of a sudden, it was the talk of the day. Kingdom Come Deliverance is releasing on the Switch. But as I said, nothing like that was planned at all, and we didn't even think about that. Now, a few months back, and we think it was still somehow cursing around in the Nintendo database, Nintendo of Spain posted a picture on Twitter where they had different pictures of open world games, and they were promoting already existing open world games on the Nintendo store. And if you clicked on the picture, actually there was nothing like Kingdom Come Deliverance, of course not, because as I said, nothing like that is existing. However, again, it created confusion. People were talking about it again, like, okay, so is it coming, is it not coming? But for us, actually, and as I said, we didn't think about that until that time. For us, we started to think. There's a lot of interest, there's a lot of buzz. People are actually talking about us, reaching out.
Yeah, it's funny. The outrage about Kingdom Come Deliverance actually made it sell well.
Switch. So we started to think, and since we are already in the Koch Media family or the Embracer family, and there's a lot of talented studios, so is Saber Interactive, and who but them would be actually capable of bringing the Kingdom Come Deliverance version on the Switch. So we sat together, and now we are here talking about the Nintendo Switch version on Kingdom Come.
So what you're saying is that a community of gamers made this happen?
Yeah.
More or less, yes. The community feedback we got, of course, was a big drive for this entire project. But this comes from our general background. So think of the Kickstarter project we had in the day. So without the community, there wouldn't be any Warhorse Studios or any Kingdom Come Deliverance. So we always try to be very close to them and working together with them, and even coming up with crazy ideas together with them. So for instance, the Savior Schnapps, our own liquor we created later, was actually a community idea. We have our own beer brand. We recently
I'm not too sure.
A blue brick set, like a building set for Kingdom Come Deliverance buildings. And now one of the latest projects is the Kingdom Come Deliverance soap bar.
Oh my god, what the hell?
The real medieval smell.
So basically it smells like piss and shit, great.
It smells actually pretty well. And we are coming up with crazy stuff like that all the time. Our next new merchandise project is a Farkle boxed board game, kind of. So Farkle, for those who don't know, that's like this Kingdom Come Deliverance minigame, a dice minigame you can play in the game. And now with Griffon Studios, we are coming up with a boxed version you can get and play Farkle at home against your friends or against your family or whatever. So that's pretty cool if you ask me.
It does feel like pre-recorded.
Interested in these kind of
and
stuff,
she's just asking the questions, it's cutting to their answer.
All the information you need there.
Ooh, my favorite. Soapy hot news. Speaking of soapy hot news, how do you feel about Warhorse being under the new label Prime Matter?
It's a huge honor, of course.
This is absolutely...
4 years already.
They recorded their answers, and she's just asking the questions. And that pun was cringe as fuck.
Being able to take part at the beginning of something new, be there when there's a new label being created, that is a big thing for us. And especially if you consider that we come there as an established partner already, that is really cool, and we are looking forward to a bright future.
Thank you very much, Toby. We cannot see what Warhorse has got cooking. However, until that time, Toby, goodbye!
So are we. Thank you very much, and see you.
From internet rumors back to reality, we will have more on Kingdom Come Deliverance for Switch as we get it.
All right, let's move from RPGs to FPS games. Final Form, which is a working title, is an action-packed sci-fi adventure where you play the role of a humanoid avatar of a sentient spaceship sent on a mission to the edge of the known universe to battle an unstoppable plague. The game is still...
That sounds so retarded, I love it.
Here's a very quick peek at what's in store.
That sounds so fucking stupid that I am incredibly interested. The human avatar of a sentient ship going to do battle with a plague. That sounds so stupid that I actually love it. can't front. I just the story alone kind of sells me. The name Final Form, by the way, I know that's a working title, but someone definitely has memes.
Games, and what you have just seen is the first glimpse of our upcoming game codenamed Final Form.
Final Form is an action-packed, epic sci-fi FPS in which you are a female-formed humanoid machine on a space mission with no return.
At the heart of the game is a mystery and alien worlds to explore, but also an adrenaline-fueled combat. In Final Form, it's all about the freedom and power of movement, being a machine unrestrained by human weaknesses. There are numerous abilities and gadgets that come with your robotic body, so you can give yourself away to the fantasy of becoming an unstoppable cybernetic goddess blazing away in a spectacular ballet of destruction.
So it's a high-octane FPS game.
Is located in Warsaw, Poland, with additional team members located all over the world. The studio was founded and is managed entirely by game developers. Since the success of Ruiner, we've grown quite substantially. Currently, Raken is over 50 brilliant game creators, and counting. We are not a huge team, but what we love to do is to evolve together with our projects, constantly finding smarter and better ways to achieve something truly unique. We build our work environment just like we make games, aiming for the best results and personal fulfillment. We strongly believe that the well-being of team members needs to be taken care of first, before we can pour all of that love into a game. The partnership with Koch Media has been very fruitful and inspiring. We're happy to be in the avant-garde of the upcoming new label. We're looking forward to share more on Final Form in the future. And in the meantime, please enjoy the rest of the show and see you around.
Hey, keep the name. Codename Final Form sounds cool, actually. I mean, it's about machines and stuff. I'd keep the name. Codename Final Form sounds good.
I have to say, guys, I love the soundtrack from Final Form. Moving on to
How do you know what the soundtrack sounds like?
What if you took Lovecraftian and Gagaris themes and mixed it all together with hardcore RPG elements? That's exactly what Massive Works Studios.
I was about to turn around and say, that sounds like Darkseid. But Darkseid isn't an RPG. Oh, that's the... Fuck off! That's the... That was the goddamn Dead Space text! Don't be pulling that bullshit. That was the Dead Space text. That was the markings you see all around in Dead Space on the walls. In fact... See? Do you see what I mean? It's the same fucking text.
Let's speak now to Gabriel Ferreira, CTO of Massive Works Studios, who joins us now from Campinas.
It's the same fucking text. Oh no, this isn't Dead Space. I'm talking about the text that translated from the gibberish to English. It's the same fucking text.
Well, so let me tell a little bit about what Domain is. Domain is that kind of a game where the hero needs to save everyone from an alien threat. Fighting with all kinds of monsters and struggling to keep going forward.
Oh, the irony, I was just playing Mass Effect.
This kind of game that Domain is not about. In this game, you actually save the drillers, which is the alien species that live on that planet, but you're going there to help a company save its investment. So you're not really the nice guy that's trying to save everyone. It's just a job. But we hope that the players consider the humanity, the greed, the war, and the spares and the challenges that come to mind along with that job. Taking all that part, and yes, Domain is also about fighting all kinds of monsters and struggling. After all, it is a hard game. It's a hardcore game. It's inspired on Souls-like, so yes, you're going to die a lot.
Awesome, thank you. So when thinking about the name Dolmen, obviously you guys went for that for like a very specific reason. What's the thinking behind the name? Why did you go for Dolmen?
So there was many things that came to our mind when describing the name of the game. Dolmen, which means a single chamber tomb, a megalithic tomb. We thought it would be a good word to describe this stone, this crystal that we have that is related to that. In many ways, everyone that deals with this crystal in the game is close to bringing problems to everyone that is around.
So it's a monkey's paw.
We wanted this to be the main piece of the game.
Cool. Awesome. And now I know that people may or may not have heard of Dolmen before, so it is already out there in the world. But how long has it taken to get to this point?
Oh, it's been a long journey since the beginning of the project. We started at late 2016, so it's been almost 5 years now, and probably just a bit more to come out. But we and about our journey, if it wasn't the support that we had since the beginning, either our community, the Kickstarters, and you guys, I believe we would not be here right now.
Lovely. How have you been inspired by other games? You mentioned like the Souls-like obviously inspires it. You know, are there other games that inspire you? And also, what games do the teams like?
First of all, regarding inspirations, a lot of games came to us when we were producing the game and when we were first thinking of it. Obviously, we are really passionate and we really love Souls-like games, so Bloodborne, Dark Souls.
So I'm expected to get kicked in the nuts.
Those
Gotcha.
games were our main inspirations.
Okay, so okay, damn it.
We drew inspirations from all different kind of sources. So we had inspirations in Dead Space, in Meta.
I knew
it. And also not only inspirations in other games, but also inspirations in movies and Lovecraftian stories. For example, Alien and Geiger, and those were our main inspirations.
I fucking called it.
We most like and games that our team likes. It's really hard to say because we have a team that ranges from liking Dota to CS and Souls-like games. But what I can really tell you is that everyone of our team is passionate about the project because they love doing what they do, which is a hardcore game.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
So, ball busters. You're a bunch of assholes who get off on making ball busters. You're one run away from being the asshole who made I want to be the guy.
Is there any specific reason you decided to go down that route? Was there any other routes that you considered at first?
Yeah. Well, the humans are afraid of what they don't know. And the universe has infinite possibilities. There is always something unknown that we can explore in space. So that sci-fi setting really was something that we could use to throw everything that our insane minds could come with. So we wanted to use the sci-fi as a tool to reach this goal, to present the player a world of unknown that he can fear and he can enjoy it.
No, absolutely. And
I've been wanting to suffer lately, so I might look into this.
On the point of humans and Earth, you guys are based in Brazil, which is awesome. Are there any specific challenges that you face during development because of that, or just in general?
What?
Yeah, there were a lot of challenges that we faced along this 5-year journey. We obviously had to adapt our workflow in these late years. So 2020 and 2021 was a really challenge for us, but it was something that we could adapt well, especially because
what kind of question is that?
We're based in Brazil. We're not only based in a single location in Brazil. We have people spread across the country. So it was easy enough to overcome that challenge. But there were several challenges since getting development kits and finding people that are really capable of helping us to deliver this amazing game. And that's what we gathered, and that's something that our company appreciates the most and really gives value, is the people that we work with. They were really incredible people, and they were really rare over here.
Absolutely, that's really cool. Kind of on that theme of development and challenges, given how development and technology often dictates how a game evolves throughout its development, how kind of close are you to the original concept that you guys came up with?
No, seriously, I'm bothered by that.
Well,
how challenging was it to be a studio in Brazil? I'm kind of bothered a little by that question.
Really small, and the journey of the game, for example, it started as a concept.
Like that almost sets being a developer in Brazil as the other. What the fuck?
For months, the game converged in two senses, and one of them, when we first thought of the game is huge and is insane and has a lot of background on it. It has all this universe around it. So a lot of it has been built. So people that loves lore and loves
I don't know how to respond to that question.
They will have a lot to explore on that side. But the game from its original concept evolved a lot, especially now that we have more tools at our disposal. So on the tech side, it advanced way better than we imagined. Back 2016, we didn't have all the resources that we have now. So, of course, we made some sacrifices here and there, and in order to achieve our goal. But
I mean, she was one step away from asking, so, how's life in the ghetto?
Satisfied.
What the fuck?
You know? We want to reach more. At the end of the day, this is also a game.
Every developer should be asked that stupid question. Exactly.
On top of all, we want to make a brilliant game for the player.
Absolutely. And speaking about like making the game and the development of the game, seeing as you are lead programmer as well, what was the hardest part of making the actual game?
I believe that we could have gone into
I absolutely agree.
Options. Especially, for example, we could have wanted to make it a game that was simpler or smaller or not have that many hours of gameplay. But we decided to go to a hardcore game, even though it's a first game of our company. So we decided to go full in into that challenge. We faced a lot of challenges, as I mentioned previously, but I believe the hardest part of the game was finding the correct professionals and focusing on what we were doing, and keeping yourself focused for 5 years on a single game is something that is challenging for everyone, especially right now. So it was a difficult decision, but we wanted to make that. Regarding programming, and as a programmer, there's a lot of that I could keep talking about.
I prefer that you didn't. Like,
multiplayer is always challenging.
I have a problem with this format.
That balancing fit, so the game that is not unfair, but is hard. So we wanted to aim hardcore players. So this was really something that
Thank God I'm not taking a shot every time.
Like 5 years of development, which is a crazy long time. How have you kept yourself motivated? How have the team kept themselves motivated?
I won't say that it was easy, because it wasn't, but I would say that most of all, we were always having these meetings in order to play the game. Even now that we are remote, we keep getting up every day and making a meeting and showcasing what we are doing and working alongside each one of us. Also, a lot of things that happened before COVID was the events. The events always made us super happy. So showcasing the game to everyone and getting the players to play the game and see how they react, it was something incredible for us.
See, now that's not a bad question. How did your team keep motivated during the last 14 months?
Missing that event feeling, right? When you actually get to see people on the games and you're like, oh wow.
That's not actually a bad question for a small indie developer like this, or a small developer like this.
Speaking of kind of motivation and happy times, what are you most proud of this game?
Because that's actually a legitimate question I'd like to ask a lot of developers.
The universe that we created is amazing. It has a lot of background from it. So, for example, we even made some comics for it that we prepared. We have a lot of story, some crazy cinematics. So we're really proud of the universe that we created, this game that we made, and achieving what we did is what makes us feel proud. And now that we have
the problem is I'm fucking convinced that all of these answers were recorded pre,
get closer to
and then they recorded her afterwards, or she's doing the questions live and then they're splicing in the footage.
Awesome. Speaking of partnership with us, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch on their brand new label?
Yes, let's keep stroking that Koch.
That's really an amazing feeling for us. Koch really helped us and takes care of the operation that we couldn't make it for ourselves. They have an amazing team of QA localization, so we can reach different countries and players everywhere. We have a great producer that worked with us, helping us reach our goals and really deliver the game that we want. And without Koch opened the doors for us on that sense. And being part of this new label is a
This is less of a showcase of the games, or more a showcase of this new
developers and expand
chimera that they've created.
And to meet you as well. We really thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. We are so happy to have you guys on board. And more importantly, I am so excited to actually let people play this game at some point under this new label. So thank you so much for your time, Gabriel. It's been awesome talking to you. And yeah, let's release Dolmen at some point under the new label. Thank you for your time. And see you later.
Thank you. See you.
Now, the first title from Prime Matter will be the beautiful, highly anticipated King's Bounty 2. We have a first look at the gameplay trailer, and then Opal got a chance to sit down and talk with CEO Nikolai Baryshnikov.
And parents were thinking ahead with that, man.
The balance is off.
See, my thing is with this whole format, I'm all for dev diaries. I've turned around and said multiple times, one way developers can keep interesting games is doing dev diaries on YouTube. Do you know what I mean? Like every month or something, do a small update. Like have small interviews where the devs are talking about the progress of the game, where they're at, show us some concept art or shit like that. That could help keep interest in a game and keep us gamers satiated. Don't build a whole fucking show around that.
Conspiracy, sabotage, necromancy, they all threaten this land asunder. but we must unite for distorted
Like, you
terrors.
don't build the entire fucking show about that.
Rumors tell of a false prophet, putting our hope in something that does not exist. A seer foretells that our savior is among us.
Yeah, no, all studios should do it.
You laid faith in my father, do so to me. We must look towards the horizon, fight back the darkness, and preserve the light of our land. For Nostria!
Hello there, guys! Thanks for joining me, and I am joined by Nikolai Barinshnikov from 1C Entertainment, who is CEO and creator of King's Bounty 2. So King's Bounty has been years in development and has a 30-year pedigree. So what is it that makes King's Bounty 2 so special?
The original King's Bounty was a grandfather of games of series like Heroes of Might and Magic. So it created these turn-based gameplay when we have a hexed-based battlefield and the troops are moving in turns. Like chess pieces on the board. So I think that's the key, the cornerstone of King's Bounty.
Absolutely, and kind of speaking about that, and I know as you mentioned, the first King's Bounties was 1990, and then you had the King's Bounty that you guys created in the 2000s. What technical improvements, now that we're in 2021, are you most excited about implementing into the new King's Bounty 2?
Well, I'm a huge fan of the core aspect of the game with tactical battles. And if in the previous games, the battlefield was always a flat surface, so now we're bringing the battlefield into 3D.
Yes,
so,
yes, we've
sides,
moved from 2D to 3D.
Heals, like simple example, if your archers are located on the hill, they will get extra damage for the high ground, etc. So moving the battlefield.
There's no problem with that, Akira. I mean, for God's sake, people still play older games that look like they were made on that.
The role-playing part, the exploration part, we decided to move more towards games like Fable or Mass Effect, kind of epic, big role-playing games, as opposed to have a top-down isometric view of tiny little character on a horse just galloping around the map. So we are moving towards this kind of epic fantasy adventure.
I don't know. Diablo 3 would like to have a word.
Like a small indie title anymore. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, production we've done in Moscow so far.
So speaking of the other King's Bounty games, will this King's Bounty 2 follow the other stories of the games, or will it be a standalone title?
No, the game will not follow on any previous games. But even the previous King's Bounties, they all sort of like disconnected. There was like the main protagonist, there are a bunch of evil guys. There's like a small quest.
She hates all the games.
The previous King's Bounty. It was not
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, the live chat for this stream is brutal.
Random monsters.
I'm not kidding.
And solving some little quests. And then King's Bounty 2 is really, a epic adventure. We have spent like dozens of hours solving puzzles, working with different factions, making decisions that change the character and the world. So we're really moving much more towards an epic RPG. However, this is a very combination where our game, King's Bounty, is not an action RPG. It's not a Witcher game where you have to, quickly press buttons on the joysticks and battle enemies in the field. It's interesting.
So why are you here then, Mitch?
High fantasy role-playing game with a tactical strategy title, which.
It's fucking brutal.
Was never done.
Someone just turned around and said she ate all the games. She ate all the animation paper.
And for me, like a great inspiration was a modern remake of XCOM, for example, because I was a huge fan of XCOM that was released in 1994, 1996, and the modern console reinventing of XCOM. This is something we're trying to achieve with King's Bounty. Really make a modern game that works well on modern platforms, that works well with current understanding of gamers, how a game should look like. So we're trying to
fucking Among Us 2077.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Kind of speaking about the story of King's Bounty 2 and how it differs, it appears to have a darker, more gritty aesthetic compared to its predecessors. What was the design philosophy around that? Why did you decide to go with that instead?
That's a interesting question. We've been debating on
that.
design
The
approach.
fuck was that?
And again, as I said, we spent a lot of time prototyping, working on the core gameplay and the looks and the art of the game. Previous game had this more cartoonish, kind of fancy indie look.
Well, at this point, it just seems like they're just doing a lot of dev conversations.
Big game, an epic adventure. We've been
there was two, Dolmen and codenamed Final Form. Dolmen looked interesting. Codename Final Form does actually look interesting as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Who call like high fantasy or like realistic fantasy. So it's not a dark fantasy like Kingdom Come.
Like just the concept alone of those, but like the constant interviews is killing it.
Fantasy, epic characters. If there's a dragon, it looks like a dragon, not like a toy. If there's a villain, he or she looks like a real bad person. So that was the main philosophy. Plus,
no, what you don't understand, Asmodeus, is currently locked in my basement.
And I don't think that it's a good idea to take a game of 2008 and just make a replica with slightly.
But like, no, seriously, don't build a whole show around this shit.
For consoles, there's a specific.
I don't get the mindset they were in.
Coming to the store or buying the game digitally or online. Okay, this is like a $49.59 game. It has to look graphically and gameplay-wise like this. There's an expectation, and we believe that that's what we had to do.
That's the most annoying thing right now.
You mentioned that this game combines
that was rough.
different kind of like ways that you can play the game, basically, from third-person RPG elements to this unique fighting system, this kind of.
By the way, the stream I'm watching currently has 922 likes to 697 dislikes.
With the evolution of game design and how people play games, why did you choose to stick to these hybrid game mechanics? Do you think that this is kind of what makes King's Bounty King's Bounty?
I'm not the only person bitching about this media, so try the internet tries it.
Need to answer. King's Bounty is again is a grandfather of turn-based games. So if you remove tactical combat from King's Bounty, then it becomes, I don't know, Mass Effect or Kingdom Come. So so we can play around with evolution of this gameplay, make it more fun or realistic, but obviously this is the core. So this is a tactical game with a lot of role-playing aspects, high fantasy aspects, and not the other way around. So again, gamers who like RPG with shooting elements, games like Cyberpunk, this King's Bounty is probably not for them. I'm sorry,
So basically, a lot of people.
Yeah, and in terms of we've mentioned kind of this new 3D world that you're creating when it comes to the fighting style, and then these RPG mechanics and making this world feel more alive and more exciting. What was actually the hardest part of you making the game? What took the longest time? What kind of caused you the most headaches?
Hard to say. First of all, this multiple platform game.
That's hard to tell at the moment, Mitch.
That's prolong the development. If you make just, let's say, a PC title or just a PlayStation game, then you are not having a headache of porting to different platforms, getting different specifications, TCRs, approvals. So that adds a lot. And then secondly, the production itself. As soon as we went away from this kind of cartoonish, easy-looking isometric view into a 3D high fantasy and the production of assets. So we wanted to build like a huge map. We wanted to populate this map with a lot of characters that would just move around, go somewhere, have their own like stories. Then we decided to, instead of having like text dialogues, we decided to produce a lot of engine-based cutscenes to push the story, to explain what's going on. So we even had to buy our motion capture studio. We worked with like dozens of actors, and there are hours and hours and hours of in-game based cutscenes, which in the past could be just dialogues and pieces of text. That was another huge complication.
No, absolutely. And then the final question, what are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch?
Oh my fucking god! This really is just struck the Koch media stream. This really is. Look at how big our Koch is.
I'm not sure that all gamers understand how games get to the market. So
fucking Christ!
Writing pieces of code or drawing this amazing sketch of a dragon is only half of the puzzle. So it's like
you know what? Microsoft has bought a fuckload of studios lately,
testing,
and I hope they're fucking. I hope
manufacturing retail units.
I hope their stream is nothing like this.
Shops,
Look at how big our Microsoft is.
Communications. So we decided to cooperate with Koch Media. That seemed to be the ideal partner. So we are on the market for many years, and I would say very honestly, I was personally a bit scared if we do it just ourselves, that we might not have the human resources to deliver the information about the game itself. We'll work with all the platform holders.
God damn it!
In a co-production and co-publishing with such esteemed partners, Koch Media and Embracer Group. So I'm quite happy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for your time, Nikolai. And I cannot wait for people to get their hands on King's Bounty 2.
Oh, me too. Trust me, me too. After 2 years of development, that's going to be one of the most exciting days for me in 2021.
We have 12 titles. We keep saying it. And honestly, I shouldn't have a favorite. It's like picking between a favorite child. However, this next title speaks to me on a gaming level unlike any other. This third-person action-adventure shooter will keep you up at night tossing and turning with horrific, nightmarish creatures.
Bullshit!
Think Alice in Wonderland meets Alien, or as one US journalist put it, Tomb Standing.
What?
Guys, sit back, relax, grab a pillow, because you get a world-exclusive look at Scars Above.
Good job. Dr. Ward, Dr. Yoshida, get to the bridge, please. Time to see what...
How say fire this presenter? What the fuck was that kind of introduction?
Telemetry check.
Telemetry check. Here go.
Oh, that walking is rough.
Wow. How is this possible? What planet is this? How did I end up here?
There's no weight to her walking.
It has an internal conduction system. The 3 points on the rim seem sensitive. A targeted blast of electricity should cause a reaction.
There is no weight to her whatsoever.
The debris. It's from Hermes. It must have splintered off as it entered the atmosphere.
This better be fucking alpha footage.
Mira. It's still intact.
Dude, I've seen better walking animation in Unity games.
What the hell was that? Log entry. The creature has multiple salivary glands in its thoracic region that seem to produce a highly venomous secretion.
Ah, this is rough.
Wow. whole place is covered with some kind of organic residue. Looks like Robin's...
They're really trying to not show her face. They really are trying not to show her face.
This will help me get through that tissue webbing. And I'm taking the MPU.
Okay, I know that might be that is a railgun. I know that it's meant to be a railgun, but that thing looks like it's firing with no power behind it. That's clearly a railgun. You can see the magnets firing up to fire.
Who were the architects of this place? Did they build these towering monuments to serve a purpose, or as a testament to their might? Were they looking for answers, or solving a problem? Oh my god!
This is being played on a controller, and that bothers me. That looks like a guy. That looks like he's using the same animation as the brutes from Dead Space.
This thing was huge.
That thing was huge. This thing was huge. No, that bothers me. This thing was huge. No, it still is huge. Like, it's dead, but its corpse is still huge. What was that dialogue? This thing is huge. Should have been what they said. I will not be surprised if the people behind this game, English is not their first language.
The appendages are dripping with the fluid that's freezing the water. There's the brain and the neural pathways leading to various organs. The pseudocerebrum seems to be generating an electrical charge. This neural pathway is conducting large amounts of bioelectricity.
Okay, this is a cool concept. I actually like this. Examining an alien species.
This gland is secreting the cryogenic fluid that's freezing the water.
I actually like this. Think of this concept where you've got to examine an alien body because it's doing something that's stopping you from moving on. So you have to examine it to find out what's causing that and eliminate it.
Seems to be aided by bioelectricity.
Like, that's not a bad concept. Where the fuck is that thing's tongue? Where the hell is that?
That really was something. And
oh, it was something, all right.
Talk to the developers, Mad Head Games, and ask them what their game was all about.
Hello there, guys. Joining me now from Novi Sad in Serbia is Ivan Zorkic, game director at Mad Head Games, who's going to tell us all about his new project. So, Ivan, what's Scars Above all about?
Hey there. So, Scars Above, well, an alien object appears near Earth.
I told you
a team of astronauts is, sent to explore it.
I told you.
Close-range scan. However, for some reason that I don't want to go into now, this results in them like in an event.
Media, stop posting what you're seeing in other streams here. I know that's what you're doing.
So our protagonist, Kate Ward, who is a mission specialist, she's an astrobiologist with a background in engineering. She's one of the members of the team of astronauts, of the team called SCAR team, which is Sentient Contact Assessment and Response. So she is on the ship doing the scan, and she ends up on this stranded on this alien planet. So one moment she's with her team in the ship, and the other moment she's on this strange planet alone. So she explores. She finds out that her team is also stranded on the planet. She has to find them first. And it seems that some time has passed. She doesn't understand why. And also the planet is very hostile. So there's a bunch of dangerous creatures, monsters, and everything seems to want to kill her and the rest of her crew. So she needs to find out what's going on, solve this mystery. How did they end up here? What does this planet want from them? And the story unravels, and she actually learns about the place and learns about the mystery behind it. But it's all about
oh, thanks, Metallica. I'm trying here.
On this,
I'm trying.
Kind of scary, but also in a way strangely beautiful world. And
I love how he's trying to come up with a description of the world he's making.
Like kind of keeping on that theme of the realm of possibility and whatnot. How much in the game has its roots in the real world, and how much is just plain crazy sci-fi?
What?
It's mostly sci-fi, but the themes come from the real world. So they're inspired by the real world. I think the best stories come from the real world, even if they're, about, as I said, dragons or fairy tales, and of course, spaceships and space exploration. Like, there's always this component. So on one level, Scars Above is about reason versus terror. And this is a very important topic to me, and that's a very real world topic for me. Like, in our world, a lot of bad things come out of fear. And this fear, gives birth to some unreasonably
These are questions
dark actions
written by someone who doesn't know how to interview.
And more fear and more bad things. And in a way, Scars Above is like, for me, a metaphor for reason standing up against terror.
What?
Science against darkness, knowledge against ignorance.
So apart from kind of staying within sci-fi, and obviously that kind of opening up the possibility that this can actually happen makes sci-fi what it is there any other important...
Hold up, no, I'm sorry.
That sense of realism.
We're going back. Hold up, no.
So there is,
I gotta hear that.
Knowledge against ignorance.
So apart from kind of staying within sci-fi, and obviously that kind of opening up the possibility that this can actually happen makes sci-fi what it is...
What fucking question is that? That statement was dumb as her fucking... What?
So apart from kind of staying within sci-fi, and obviously that kind of opening up the possibility that this can actually happen makes sci-fi what it is there any other important reason to you to keep, that sense of realism still there in the game?
So there is yes, there is a reason to keep realism, but I think the better word is to make it believable. So if you go for absolute realism, you're kind of limited on what you can tell, the story you can tell. It kind of is like there is fiction element to the sci-fi, right? But we want to make it believable, and the reason why this is important is because I would like to create this what if vibe. I would like it if people actually ask themselves, like what if this really happened?
You
what
failed.
Would I do if I were suddenly stranded somewhere on this?
You failed when the interviewee is correcting the interviewer.
World, surrounded with monsters and terrors. Like, if you make this believable, people might actually think more about it.
I don't believe it though.
Realistic. but we do want to make it believable so that, because immersion is really important, so that people get immersed in this world and start thinking like, what would I do if
I don't find, that's the problem. I don't find it
what if this was
believable that I'm going to have a gun, a railgun that can shoot ice.
Appear near Earth someday, and what would happen?
Absolutely. And then you mentioned the lead protagonist, Kate Ward. You told about her job title. What else about her? Who is she? Why is she?
Kate is awesome.
She's stunning and brave.
Kate is a very strong and very capable, but also a very caring person. So she's an astronaut.
This is a joke.
A team member, a colleague, an explorer.
This is a joke.
She always has like this childlike scientific curiosity. But one thing she is not, and that's a warrior, like a trained warrior. She's not a soldier, so she's not like a space commando or anything. And and she does end up in a situation where like she needs to fight for her life. So that's a theme that's kind of like really interesting to us. Because the fact that she's not a trained combatant doesn't mean she's not capable. So she has like a strong will, a sharp mind, and she's very brave and tough. But she
won't stop you from being eaten
in our game, and we want to show how vulnerable she is, how scared she is, how distressed. Because true courage doesn't it doesn't come out of lack of fear. It comes in face of fear. So we do want to show this fear, and it's actually like this. The fact that she's
I ain't doing shit.
This, like fighting her emotions.
I ain't doing shit.
All the stress.
You're triggering the auto. You're triggering the auto destruct sequence.
She fights her emotions. She's susceptible to panic, which I think kind of makes her relatable. Like she's not like I'm all out of gum. I'm kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum. That's
don't be quoting Roddy Piper.
She's like her heart pounds, her voice breaks, she trembles. But then, and that's what I really like when her voice breaks, when she's like really scared, but she like clenches.
Like I said, Dolman and Codename Final Form looked interesting.
True, no matter the obstacle, and she does it using her mind, and using science and using her cunning to.
I shall conquer with the power of science
and gadgets and survive against the odds.
Awesome. So you mentioned that Kate.
Media, if you've got a fucking problem with it, just leave.
Gets sent up.
Alright, just fucking leave.
Who else are we going to be meeting on this adventure?
So she's a part of a 4-person team.
If you honestly think this is worse than go watching Phil, then go watch Phil.
Richard Robinson, and he's like a person with a military background, like a pilot and an officer, and he is the commander after all. But the rest of the team are mission specialists, because this is also kind of like the idea that
behold, child, science
appears. We send scientists and explorers trying to figure what's going on.
You'd also because you'd also send a military detachment.
Who is
what if it turns out to be hostile?
And also like a scientist and an astronaut, and by Mike, a little bit younger member of the team, but who is also like a communications expert, and like they're all scientists working together to solve this mystery. But Kate does get separated from them, and part of the game is actually uncovering the fate of her other team members.
They're all dead. I'm gonna call it. They're all dead by the end.
But Kate obviously cares a lot about her teammates and her friends.
Speaking of best feelings that you can have, what are you most proud of up to date of Scars Above?
I'm actually gonna give you a corny but very true answer. I'm most proud of the team. So like making a game is a huge effort, and it requires a lot of hard work, focus, energy, dedication, but also like cooperation, communication, support. So it's just like looking at a group of people working together on a common goal, that's really inspiring. And I think that's truly the case with any development team. Like when you ask them like what you're more proud of.
Dude, spoilers. I will spoil this game.
Like one day
I'm saying, like I said,
I may actually forget
that footage better be alpha.
I will always remember the people I worked with.
That's awesome. And then last question.
How does it feel being
benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch and being on their publishing label?
There's a bunch of benefits, but having access to certain resources, to experience, This is a game, with many firsts for us. So
oh my
having
god!
Someone to just share thoughts and share.
That's okay. I'm not gonna. That is gonna be the end fucking question every time.
And I'm being perfectly honest. Like, the biggest benefit for me was meeting a bunch of great people on your side. And I truly mean this. Like, it's a continuing pleasure to work with you. Not just not just talking about the game or how we can make it better, but just like we talk a lot, as you know, like we chat about various things. Just meeting you guys, like it's a tremendous boost to what we're doing. And
oh my god,
I don't want to downplay like the obvious benefits, because there's a lot of them. Like,
look at my Koch. My Koch is amazing.
But
you're right, Ian. It is
meeting and getting to hang out with you guys.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this is less about the games and more about my Koch. Their Koch.
Thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait to let people play Scars Above, because I know that we have so much fun with it in the office. So thank you very much. And yeah, we can't wait to see more.
But on some red...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to people playing the game.
I need to look at her again. I need to figure something out.
Thank you for this talk. Yeah.
And now for something completely different. When Brian Fargo himself, the granddaddy of top-down isometric RPGs, says he is excited about a game, that's gotta mean Prime Matter is getting something right. Encased is an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG scheduled for release this autumn. And this new trailer, which we're unveiling today, should give you a pretty good flavor of what the game is all about.
It's
holy shit, a game.
And the future has arrived.
Cool.
But here's the skinny. We at Cronus need you. Cronus was formed after a dome-like structure was discovered 5 years ago. Was it from our ancient past? Was it made by aliens? Does it run on perfectly harmless nuclear power? We need to know. And humanity is waiting for you to help unlock its secrets.
Okay.
Descend into the dome itself and join one of our incredible research teams. The only question is, which wing of Cronus is the best fit for you? If you like taking orders, cracking heads, ultra-violence, and guns, lots of guns, then the Black Wing is for you.
I think Bethesda gonna be suing somebody.
Technology, but not expect any credit for it? You sound like an engineer to us. Welcome to the Blue Wing. Are you a doctor, scientist?
I think Bethesda and Microsoft about to be suing somebody.
You covered in the White Wing. Do you like taking credit for the hard work of others, but never do anything yourself? Those forms won't fill themselves. That's management, mister. And the Silver Wing awaits. Are you a criminal, prisoner, or have no discernible skills whatsoever? Then you're coming to the Orange Wing, like it or not. Are you ready for adventure? Are you ready to make the change with us? Are you ready to love it so much that you'll never want to leave? Then join Cronus and take the second giant leap for mankind under the dome.
Damn, Brad, I'll sue. Encased. I'm sorry.
That's not all. Opal got to sit down.
No, this is a closed case.
Check it out.
How much did you take for Fallout? Okay, by the way, add big, obnoxious red aviators and tell me you don't see modern day Jim Sterling.
RPG Encased. So, Slava, what is Encased?
Fuck!
So Encased is an old school RPG in the sci-fi post-apocalyptic setting, basically.
You fucking ripped off Fallout!
Kind of, it's a word and it has various meanings. What's the thinking behind the name?
The thinking behind the name comes from the setting of the game, from one main entity of it, which is the dome. The game takes place in the anomalous zone called the Dome, which was found somewhere in the last unknown desert on the Earth and on our planet. And well, basically people who get in there, various scientists, technicians, soldiers and adventurers, they can't get back. This is sort of a one-way road, so those guys who explore the dome. They are encased in there, which I think makes some sense in this regard.
Absolutely. Yes. So I know that you guys have been developing this game for kind of a long time now. How long has it actually taken to get to the point where you are now?
So we are developing the game for 3.5 years now. We started late in 2017 with some pre-production. But
God, I know that's gonna get me some fucking hate. I know this is gonna get me somebody wagging their finger at me saying you shouldn't make fun.
A project like this for years and years before that, before those crystallized in something, something that.
And you're right, that shirt does look like XCOM.
10 years of thinking behind this game, this project, and 3.5 years of actual production time to this point.
So considering how long it takes, how do you guys?
No, seriously, the fact that these guys getting away with this
particular title.
Well, we can't say we have any problems with motivation or our own, because for most, if not everyone on the team, this is the dream project that comes to life. So that's fine in this regard. The motivation is always high, but also we are in the early access, and we're really open with the community from the very early stages of the project. And because of this openness and talks with the community, and we have had a crowdfunding, and now we are in the early access, we have this constant feedback on the project, both positive and sometimes negative.
I'm sure you will. No, seriously,
keeps us motivated.
It bothers me how much like Fallout that was.
For those like 3.5 years, and some extra time we'll spend on developing this game. Maybe the motivation could decline a little bit, but
no, Blitz is right. That the logo on his shirt
shared
is
feedback. We're all good.
Awesome. And then kind of bringing it back to the game, given how development and technology often is basically dictates how the game evolves throughout its development, how close to the original concept that you came up with years and years ago are you now?
I'm gonna post a link. This is the logo for XCOM.
Concept.
I can kind of see what Blitz is getting at.
We managed to keep it true. It's a very old school CRPG type game, which
I don't quite know.
Inspired
I turned around and said that
90s and early 2000s.
I already turned around and said media. Knockout City is going to be a flash in the fucking pan, and it seems like I might have been right about that.
The process, which is really great. Most of the mechanics, abilities, perks, and all those little things which these RPGs are built from, we managed to put it in there too. But obviously, because technology changed and even time passes, some less important things, I'd say, like maybe graphics or maybe art style.
The program that runs this robot shut down for a second.
Those, transform
16 times the lawsuits.
The process, because making games and RPGs, particularly, it's an iterative process and takes many iterations to figure out what is the heart, what is the idea you want to bring to the players. So those transform and crystallize during this long development. But the original concept, the very heart of it's all in there, which is really great.
Yeah, so speaking about the concept, what's the actual narrative of Encased?
The story of Encased is a story about exploring this anomalous zone, the Dome.
Didn't the trailer just explain this?
As an employee of this Cronus organization, which is the only organization that controls entire Dome research and studying. There are 5 departments which are called.
She was not told anything about this.
Start in, which affects the game a lot and the story of the game. This is the Black Wing, which are the security and police services. There are White Wing, which are scientists and medics. there is the silver wing, which are the management and you know.
Didn't the trailer literally just explain this?
The dome of the Cronus. There are blue wing, which are technicians and engineers, and there is this special orange wing, which is contains ex-convicts, which were freed to go to the dome to do various manual labor.
So
it's the SCP Foundation.
70s. Not many games have been set in that time period. What prompted you to pick that specific time period?
Well, we think that the 70s is the perfect time for like our game, what we are doing.
I.e., we played way too much Fallout.
Like the last tick on the timeline of the humanity, while there were some blind spots on the planet. First satellites and first people in space, it's all happened in late 50s and early 60s, right? And
Secure contained soup.
The last
this is
timeline.
This
some, you know, when
this is fucking
do
painful.
not have this complete web surrounding the Earth and the planet, and there are some blind spots where such an amazing and dangerous place like Dome.
No, seriously, this is the most boring fucking thing I've ever seen.
From that time, the story takes
fucking game presentation
path
where I'm
instead of
actively
going
fighting sleep
further to the space
because it's so fucking
sort
boring.
of descends into the dome to study it and to do those scientific researches and do those discoveries, basically.
Yeah, so you mentioned that this is kind of like almost a parallel universe. How far did you deviate from what like actually happened in the 70s compared to what happens in the game? I guess it's
the thing.
You said that it devolves. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, obviously. So
here's the reason why.
It would be obviously that instead of continuing the Cold War,
I made a whole. Did you read all my tweet?
You can call those.
I'm curious. Did you actually read all of my tweet about it?
The ideas of like internationalism and exploring the dome together and forming that super corporation Cronus, which is actually the only foundation that explores the dome, controls all the researches. And
whoa! What the fuck happened then with it? Then you should have read. Then you should actually read that before you bring in that question, and if you don't understand, then I'll break it down into even simpler terms.
And yeah, those ideas are quite different from what happened in the real world, I guess.
And kind of
Amaru, I'm completely in agreement.
Obviously, you guys are based in
This is
Russia,
basically the
and life
stroking
in
the
the
cat
70s is very
stream.
different than life was in the West. How much of that do you think translates to an international audience once we get out there, and how much do you think people won't understand because they just, no one kind of really lived over there, or no one really knew what was happening over there?
Oh, as I said, I think the game pursues the ideas of internationalism when very different parties across the world could put their own struggles, political and other struggles aside to humanity become something bigger when it's combined with everyone is united together to to ascend to be something more and to explore the dome, its dangers and its discoveries, basically.
Absolutely. Now bringing it kind of back
Here
to
we
you
go.
guys and the developers again. You mentioned that you were inspired by other games. What games really truly inspired it? Not just games, but media.
He better say Fallout, otherwise I'm gonna call bullshit.
When it comes to video games.
Well, we are here all the hardcore RPG fans. So it's not secret why we, I suppose, picked up a project like this to develop, and it's not a secret that the game is it's in a very hard way was inspired by the Fallout series, and the other great RPG games of late 90s and early 2000s, and some modern ones too, actually.
It's you know what? At least he's honest about how much they're taking from Fallout.
I think the easier question would be what was the easy part. I can't really come with much things which were easy. It's all it's an everyday struggle in a way. It's a marathon, but it's a happy marathon, and it's a happy everyday struggle basically for us.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
Moving it into that more positive thing, the happy marathon.
About
What are you
Catch.
most proud of when it comes to Incast?
I'm obviously proud of both the team and the project itself, because both us here in the team and our community, we often forget that 3.5 years ago there was nothing, there was emptiness, nothing existed. And here, now, 3.5 years later, both with the team effort and the feedback which we get from the community, there is this great universe.
I agree, Ian, they are.
World
Like, being sued is the least
ready
of their opinion. Like, that immediately stank of Fallout.
Inside, basically.
And then moving on to the last question.
Here we go.
What are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch Media and being on their new label?
So we think that signing with a partner as Koch Media is really great, because it not only benefits us as developers, but such partnership also benefits our community, our players. We as the developers,
i.e. we got a lot of goddamn money to say that Koch is really big.
Polish it so it would be in the perfect state, while our players will enjoy more localizations which will make the game more accessible to the wider audience. We'll get the voiceover done, which just make the game better and bring it on some other higher level.
From an isometric dystopian sci-fi RPG to our next title, which is a fresh take on the action-adventure genre.
A fresh take!
All the way from Iceland, specifically built a mocap studio for this title, and has the incredible
A fresh take.
Aldous Hamilton as their lead protagonist. I got to sit down with the guys and ask them, what is this game all about?
I get the feeling you do that a lot.
So Echoes of the End is a cinematic, narrative-driven action-adventure game about Rin, a person who has trained all her life to be a warrior in service to a throne, and is now searching and finding her own identity as she's cast away from the life she's always known. It's a game we've wanted to make all our lives, basically. And for us, what we really wanted to explore was a marriage of a cinematic experience and the narrative, choice-driven storytelling of RPGs.
Right, what's bothering me is I can't tell if that...
and union is what really...
Give me a second, sorry.
...inspired us to go and make our own video game.
Exactly, and such a big integral part of the experience is how you as a
why do I feel like that background is green screened in?
The characters that you'll run into when you're going about in the game and trying to solve all the issues that the player will be you'll be facing.
2 decent games and a lot of interviews.
We're at a remarkable point in the game industry where a relatively small team is able to tackle such an ambitious vision. And it's actually reasonable. And
no, seriously, it really feels like that background is green screened in.
Making leaps in the past few years, kind of paving the way for this as the tools and hardware and software get more accessible and affordable for smaller developers. We kind of, in the early days of Midgard, we came to realize that a game
one game totally ripping off fucking Fallout.
It seemed unreal to us that it might be at the time. But growing the team and building up the tech and pipelines in-house, we saw that this was in fact possible, and it's an absolute dream for everyone at the company to be privileged enough to work on a game like this and to really.
I agree there. I agree there, Blitz.
We all want to make.
Yeah, so kind of sticking on that point of development and how technology often drives the direction of how a game evolves throughout its development. How close to the original concept is the game now?
That's a really good question. So it's rather close. Like I would say we didn't really do any large pivots. We did make some changes, of course, as the vision evolved and as we understood better kind of what the game was going to be and kind of how we scoped it to fit a team that would be able to execute on it.
No, they're in the shed.
We were always, from day one that the idea for the game kind of conceptualized, we were looking at the
My basement can only fit one person.
This game, going for really, realistic and stunning visuals, digital doubles for characters, scanned environments, next gen development engines, next-gen game engines, kind of all those things were in place for us to make the game. I think the primary things that have changed in the making of the game are more in the details of the execution of that, how we structure the story, what kind of game mechanics we want in a game like that, and really what the identity of our game is and how we separate that from other games.
We genuinely have been making this game, even though it is
this game,
slightly different.
We have been making this game.
Director has not.
Well, who the fuck else is making it?
Exactly. Yeah.
We've mentioned obviously at the start and throughout what we've spoke about so far that you guys are based in Iceland, and
it's called
Did you get much inspiration
Encased.
from your homeland in the environment?
Yes, absolutely. Iceland is such a phenomenal place to live in, and it's a beautiful country that's been featured in, many films and video games before us. And the funny thing is that us growing up in Iceland, this is normalcy for us. This is what we've been used to. It isn't until we visit other countries that we realize that the rest of the world isn't a fantasy land.
Oh my God, trees!
Yes. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely inspired by Iceland. And, I was working as a tour guide for the longest time, and a lot of us grew up in the country from different locations. And we pulled from those locations in the game. And even for some of them, we have nearly one-to-one replicas of them, in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the game itself isn't based in Iceland, of course. We're just taking inspiration from the more fantasy level vistas and visuals.
Because while all this is true, while we love Iceland and while we'd be fools,
you'd think they'd show games.
The access we have to Icelandic natural phenomenons to scan and take references from, we don't want to make a game about Vikings. Because it's something that's
because Ubisoft already did it.
A unique IP that is ours, and that no one has seen before.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on characters, and you mentioned the main character at the very start. Tell us about her. Tell us, what made you choose her? Why does she exist the way that she exists?
I'll hand that one off to you, I think.
Yeah, it's always a tricky question to answer without getting into any sort of spoilers.
Yeah.
But Ren is, as I say, she is a character, a person trained from birth to be a weapon in service to the crown. I was really fascinating in exploring the difference between a person that is, the juxtaposition between purpose and independence. And Rin is a character burdened by purpose and chained to it. She has been given a purpose, not of her own choosing, not by her own volition, but one that she has inherent to her birth and very existence. Throughout this game in particular, we want to explore the journey of going beyond that purpose and going beyond what role you are born into and seizing the world by the throat, basically.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I would
sounds
say
like a
that
solid
she's
concept.
born with certain powers that make her both a pariah and a uniquely powerful individual. But with that power come certain challenges.
I was about to say, don't you say great responsibility!
That she's challenged to overcome.
I was gonna rage if he said with great responsibility. But no, like the...
just to add a layer to that, I think with the main character, she's, throughout the game, you're constantly meeting new people. You're setting her in, we start with her familiar setting, her kind of role in society and her kind of what's expected.
No, I do like the idea that the exploring the transition between being chained to purpose that you didn't choose to finding freedom to do with what you have, what you want. I do. That concept sounds good to me. I like that. as a character piece,
the game, and really as an effector on those. I think what really heightens Rin as a character in the game is the performance by the excellent actress behind her, who is Aldis Amma Hamilton, who is absolutely phenomenal at portraying such an awesome character.
What's the hardest part of game development so far? I know you guys are.
See, I'm not bitching about everything. There's actually good things.
The most challenging part of game development.
I think that's a different answer for every team.
Yes, I think that's a different answer for every game, and I think it even might be a different answer for every team member, depending on the different perspective that they have into the game development. I think for us, it's been vitally important to find the right people to work on the game. And that's
I do find positives
who you believe in and who are really passionate about making games like this. And we've been lucky enough to find the right people so far, and we have exceptionally talented people on board with us making this game. And I think while that is often from the outset it's an invisible part of game development, but it's absolutely essential and extremely difficult.
Yeah, so you kind of mentioned before that, Iceland's quite small. Does that mean that you guys kind of struggle to find that talent that's out there? Or is it quite rich in terms of game development?
So, as usual, Iceland is excellent per capita. We're the best at everything per capita. And among those in the Nordics, we have the most developers per capita. That's not really a useful metric when you look at the fact that we're only like 300,000 people, basically a small fisher town someplace. But Iceland is completely unique in the way that CCP, another pretty well-known developer here in Iceland, kind of paved the way for all the other game developers here that are now thriving. We have a great educational infrastructure that pretty much covers all the different fields of game development here in Iceland. So we have exceptional talent coming out. And so I think, considering the size, we have great access to talent. And another part of it is that we've had a lot of Icelanders who got into game development early and moved to other countries and then moved back with a lot of experience helping new teams form and build games here. So while it's definitely a challenge to find people in a smaller nation, we're blessed by the fact that we do have exceptional talent here, and we have an educational system that is actively each year graduating new students who know game development.
What Halldór is saying is that we're a nation of nerds.
Yes.
Well done. Oh God, why the close-up then?
Relatively high number of people in Iceland who play games at all ages.
Yep.
Okay, turn it. It's a close-up.
Yeah, that's really crazy. And we've kind of mentioned what's the most difficult part about game development, but what are you most proud of up until this point?
That's it's not. It's a difficult question to answer because there's so many things. I mean, making games is it takes so many people to do so many things for it to go correctly. And I think what we're most proud of is that so far we seem to be doing it correctly with the great people.
Fuck's sake, we need a medic bag.
Is the team and the progress that we made with this team.
Yeah, I think that's a very good answer in general, that just the talent we've collected around us and the friendships that have formed so strongly within this company.
Yeah.
I think that's invaluable and is what's going to drive it forward.
And then finally, guys,
here we go.
What are the benefits of signing up with a global publisher like Koch Media and being part of their brand new label?
That's a great question. So obviously we touched on the part that we're kind of stuck in Iceland, so our outreach is quite limited on an island in the sea. No, but all jokes aside, the main benefit is that it's an extension of the team, and it's a great extension of the team. Yeah. We talk about the things that have been the most difficult, and that's building the team, and the things that we're most proud of, which is again the team that we built. And for us, Koch is a
Koch. There it is. Someone said it. Koch. There we go. Now we can officially say they're stroking their cock.
And they're empowering us to deliver these games, worldwide. And I think that is anything a developer, an ambitious developer, could ask for in a publisher.
And we are absolutely glad to have you guys. Thank you so much for your time. And I
cannot wait to give people more information about Echoes of the End.
From one side of the globe all the way to the If you like the game Gothic and hardcore RPGs, The Last Oricru is just for you. I got to
Give me a second. Fucking hell.
sit down with two of the guys from Gold Knights and talk all about them and their new game.
Hello there, guys. Today I am joined by Gold Knights creative and game director Pavel Stranad and executive producer Vladimir Gershel to talk about their game, The Last Oricru.
Hi, Opal.
Hi, Opal.
So you guys make The Last Oricru. What is the game about?
It's an action RPG where I try to show the relativity of good and evil from different perspectives of living and breathing world.
What?
So when you guys say living and breathing, what do you mean exactly?
It is important
This
to
stream's
understand
having
that The
issues.
Last Oricru is quite challenging and skill-based RPG, but compared to many other titles in this genre, our story does not take place.
Oh, and for some reason the stream's having some serious
dark
issues.
And deadly realm. Waking up in a living and breathing sci-fi medieval world of Wardenia, players find themselves in the middle of war for supremacy
Of course
over
there's
the whole
that.
planet. There is something interesting about the war, as usually warriors of each side believe that they do the right thing, often fighting for survival and well-being of their people. So the idea of the game is to show
That dude's
show
reading
the
off a
player the
script.
war and the euphoria of the winners, but also the misery of the
Yeah,
losers.
you can tell he's reading
Make
his
the player
script because his
realize
eye. Look at his
the
eye
number of
movement.
decision he can make in the game will affect all the living beings in the world.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you make choices during The Last Oricru. How impactful are they?
The impact is major. First of all, you are the
She's
one
not
who
speaking
decides
like a
which
human
side
being.
will win the war. But there are many different roads through the game, and you can
Yeah,
experience the whole game
they are.
only after multiple playthroughs.
And dying,
I want
and,
to give every player his own experience. and try not to push any moral code
everything
or
else
wrong
deep
into
silver,
this
like
war.
Metro.
Simply, you make the decision and actions, and based on that, individual characters have their own reactions. This creates different situations, so you can find your own friends and allies and play the way how you think it's right or fun.
Porter.
Exactly.
You do realize these are the guys who own Payday 3, right? This whole Koch media bullshit, they're the ones who own Payday 3.
The future of each race and in the end the entire planet, basically. And it is not done just by few choices somewhere in dialogues or by completing some quests, but by your continuous actions and decisions. Let me give you an example. In many scenarios, you are asked to kill the general of Redkin people. And you can obviously refuse doing that, but if you decide to kill him, there are many possibilities of what you can do with his head, which serves as a proof of his death. You can keep it and become hero, or you can give it to the queen and come closer to her heart, or you can give it to another characters of this conflict with different outcomes.
While I'm playing, guys, if I
That's
decide
right.
to be a little bit mischievous and kind of go down the route of everyone hating me,
She's not
what does that mean for me?
She She is not talking like a human being right now. This is how people who want to look like they're interviewing somebody talks.
That's another interesting thing, that often there is some hidden party involved in many wars, which profits from both sides of the conflict and the conflict itself. So that's a bit of the hidden part in the game, which you can play, but it will be a little bit difficult to play.
So the game has co-op. Can a friend help me with the boss battles? Can we play the whole entire game together? How does this work?
You know those lonely nights when you play games which are super exciting for you, but you feel a little bit sad that you cannot share that experience with anyone? That was generally the idea.
Yeah, there is a great demand for couch play in the whole third-person action RPG genre. So we are sure that for our future audience, the co-op is going to be one of the most, or the key features of our game. And that's why we went even farther. We have many situations what can be solved in co-op than in single player. So you can find new fun ways of how to kill some bosses, or solve some puzzles, or reach some special secret areas. But you know, at the end of the day, combat is bread and butter of an RPG. So if you, for example, play as a melee tank, while the second player plays a magic support, you will enjoy tens of...
The worst part is, do you want to know the absolute arse part about all of this?
And melee?
The absolute worst part about all of this is I'm sure some of the games that these devs are talking about will come out and they will be good. I'm sure of it. This presentation is not fucking helping them.
In the game that would let you use some...
It is actively being a detriment to them.
But, you know, don't forget that our world has sci-fi roots, so what is for
that is the absolute worst part about all of this. This is an active detriment to these developers.
A lot.
And finally, guys, I just want to ask you, what does it mean?
Oh, fuck off. I swear to God, this is going to be a meme. This should be a meme by the end of this.
In our game development, it helps us dramatically increase the capacity of our development team and focus primarily on the game itself. And yet, we still have the full creative control over the game, and all the feedback we are getting is really helping us to make better games. So far, it was the best decision ever.
Yeah, I'm very pleased that I could use my long-standing experience with big publishing houses and restructure the game and the team to shape which was the right fit for such a strong partner as a Koch Media. From the very beginning of our cooperation with Pavel, we were thinking big and aiming at building a really memorable new game franchise. And being part of the starting portfolio of a brand new Koch Media label gives us a great opportunity to fully achieve it.
Oh my God, coming up, Payday 3!
Thank you so much, Pavel and Vladimir, for your time. It's been
I guarantee you it's going to be like a nothing but an interview.
And I just can't wait for people to get their hands on it.
Oh God, here we go.
Bye.
We teased it in the sizzle, and now let's hear from our friends at Starbreeze to talk about Payday 2, Payday 3, and their upcoming cooperation with Prime Matter.
Thank you, Jeff, and hi, everyone. We're excited to be here, excited to talk about Payday, and excited to be working with Prime Matter. At Starbreeze, we see Payday as the ultimate bank robbing experience, inspired by classic heist movies, providing adrenaline-fueled gameplay where you get to experience the thrill of being on the wrong side of the law with a smart plan and a gun in your hand.
That's the overkill.
Is what we've been doing since the original game, through the heist, through the sequel, Payday 2, to
that's the overkill trailer.
Payday 3. And our ever-growing player community, our heisters, continue to be an inspiration for us in everything we do, pushing us to make the best Payday possible.
Okay, this is Payday 2.
The world of Payday
That's a Soul Call trailer.
Is an exaggerated reflection of reality where order is kept by the long arm of the law. At least until the heisters turn this order into chaos, giving the law the middle finger. That's when adrenaline truly kicks in and the outnumbered gang keeps beating the odds, often escaping with the cash in a hail of bullets. The Payday universe has an ongoing narrative that has been created over the years.
In the end, it went kind of off the deep end.
A reputation by going after the highest profile targets, setting up some of the craziest heist plans, and going up against some of the most powerful of enemies. And through all of this, the gang keeps coming out on top. In their exploits, the gang has become, as they call it, the tightest crew ever. The wider criminal underworld of Payday lives its own life, where movers and shakers want a piece of the action, or a piece of the Payday gang. In the gang's life of crime, they are way past the point of no return. And as we look ahead for what's to come, the gang will learn that there's no rest for the wicked.
This legacy is something that we treasure and will build on, expanding on this epic story, taking you all with us into the future of Payday. Many millions of players have enjoyed Payday so far. It's been an amazing journey for us at Starbreeze. On Steam, Payday 2 has the biggest player community of any game. This truly means the world to us.
I'm gonna call bullshit on that.
Turns 10 this year, but we're only getting started. With our team hard at work, cooperation with Prime Matter and other partners, and above all, a fantastic player community, we are looking to the future with great anticipation.
I'm rich. It's payday, fellas.
The release of Payday 3 is years away, but we could finish off today with a sneak peek of what we're working on. A taste of things to come.
Uh-oh. So it looks like it's going to be the original gang.
Well, there you have
That's
it.
all we get!
And Opal, I know we're going to be hearing
Not
much
even
more
early
about
concept
that in
art.
the weeks and months ahead, right?
Years away, 2023.
Prime Matter will be taking a huge leap into the streaming world. From June the 14th, we'll be streaming 3 times a week, every week, providing you guys with gameplay content, achievement and trophy hunting streams, as well as Dungeons and Dragons in our own universe.
Yeah, I need evidence of that, because I think even CSGO does.
And have it so that you guys get to know our developers better. Not only that,
No, it's years away. I think 2023 is the release year.
Jeff can help us out too.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see what Prime Matter has for us in the future. Thanks for announcing with us yesterday at Summer Game Fest, and I look forward to being back with you again later this summer.
No worries, Jeff, and thank you for your time. It's been awesome hosting with you, and I can't wait to do more in the future. And a thanks to you guys watching, to the streamers who are co-streaming, to our new gamers who are looking forward to the titles that we've shown you today. We are focusing on making fun, unique, and honest content for you guys. So, stay safe, stay cool, and I will see you guys on Monday. Bye!
Okay, I hope Jeff Keighley walked away from this with a footload of cash and needing a cold shower. I really hoped he walked away from that with money and needing a cold shower. So what did we learn, boys and girls? What did we learn from that? In layman's terms, we learned that they want us to know they have a huge cock. Sorry, Koch. No, seriously, that was really fucking bad. That's really fucking bad. Like, fuck's sake. I mean, first of all, you had post-operation Jim Sterling giving, like, obvious, like, cut-up interviews where she's asking questions in the fakest possible fucking way, because no human being talks like that when they're giving an interview. To footage that the studios had already goddamn fucking done. We had trailers for games that are most likely, at best, 2 to 3 years away from being out. With one game already confirmed to be out this year, one going into early access, I think. Like, this was the definition of what you should not do. Alright? Studio interviews are fine, but you don't do them in long format like this. You just don't. If you do them in long formats like this, you kill your audience. Like, you will turn them against you so fast, they'll be doing heel turns like the Big Show. Fucking hell. This is why I keep turning around and saying dev diaries need to exist. Then why didn't you, Akira? Why fucking complain? Why complain? You stayed. You could have gone, but you didn't. You stayed. This is why dev diaries need to exist for all studios. Because then people can actually set reasonable expectations and know what's showing up. Alright, because we already know... Oh, for fuck's sake. That's why big shows like E3 and stuff, you can show off the stuff that people are there for. And then you can leave the dev diaries to the actual teams themselves. Oh my god, that is fucking awful. Jesus. Hopefully I'll be doing tomorrow's. I don't know who's tomorrow. I know Sunday is Microsoft. Tomorrow's Ubisoft, isn't it? Tomorrow is Ubisoft, isn't it? Give me a second. No, Eurogamer, I won't turn off ad block. Yeah, so the Ubisoft one is tomorrow. I'm gonna need to make sure I got all my shit together for that. Then it's Devolver Digital. You know what? Devolver Digital is always entertaining. I'm actually looking forward to Devolver Digital because theirs is always entertaining. Then Gearbox, Xbox, Square Enix, Warner Brothers. Yeah, what? Even though I'm recording on the weekends, I'll see if I can actually do these showcases. I'll try and do all of these. Because, you know, I'm everything. I try and, you know, I try and do it for you guys. Oh, fucking hell. Good God Almighty. Alright. I'm going to call it for today, ladies and gentlemen, because good God Almighty, there is nothing else to say about that showcase except this is not it, Chief. This isn't how you do it. This really isn't. And I hope this is not a trend for the other presentations coming soon, like this week. So yeah, God damn it. Alright, I'll hopefully see all you guys tomorrow for, if I can make it, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the other E3 showcases. So take care, everybody. Oh my God, that was fucking disastrous. Oh my God.